All right, this is the Fluency. If you needed to check your work, then I have some answers for you. So the first one was 10 tenths, and so what I've done is I've written 10 tenths in my place value chart. And remember, you can't squeeze two numbers into one, so the 0, the last digit, the 10, will be in the tenths place. Your 1 is going to be squished over to the 1. So 10 tenths is the same as 1 whole. Okay, 90 tenths. I did the same thing. I squished it over into the tenths column, 90 tenths, but I can't fit two digits there. So my 0 stays and my 9 moves over so that it is the same as 9 wholes. Another way to think about it is a tenth. How many decimals does a tenth have? Or what are the number of hops that a decimal has that's in the tenths place? And that would be just 1. So you take your 90 and go in 1. Okay, 100 tenths, same thing. So you can write it on the place value chart. 100 tenths, the last digit is going to stay there. So that means this 0 is moving here, which means this 1 is moving all the way over to the tens column. So my answer is actually 10 wholes. Okay, 90 hundredths. I did the same thing. Wrote 90 in there, knowing that my last digit will stay, and this one's got to scoot over a little bit. So there it is. 90 hundredths is the same as 9 tenths, written just like this, 0.90. Right in standard form, again, this one's a little bit longer, 8,417 hundredths. You can think about it two ways. First of all, you can cram it all in your hundredths column and see what needs to scooch over and scooch over, or you can think about a hundredth. How many decimal places does a hundredth have? I know that it has 2, so I'm going to go over 2 digits, 1, 2, or I can cram it all in here. So my 1's going to go here, my 4 is going to go here, and my 8 is going to go all the way over. So to rewrite that, I said 8, 4, 1, 7, 84 and 17 hundredths. Okay, here's some review from yesterday's learning. 1 and 2 tenths divided by 3. So we thought about this as in your fast fact of 12. So what is 12 divided by 3? And that equals 4. But this has a decimal 1 hop in, so our answer has to have a decimal 1 hop in. So not just 4, 4 tenths. Now if I take that one step further, and I am adding on a 0 here, there's a couple different ways to explain it. I thought about it, well, I'll tell you how Age New York thinks about it first. So they say that this is the same thing as this. So 1.2 divided by 3, and that equals 0.4. But they're splitting this up when they're doing that into a 3, and 3 times what equals 10. This is like my factor tree. Remember we did this when we were dividing, when we first started dividing 3-digit numbers, we were breaking that up so it was easier to divide. So we're doing the same exact thing. So this is like 1.2 divided by 3, let me erase this part, divided by 10. So this is my 30, the 3 times the 10. As long as I divide one piece and then the other piece, I'm good. So they start with the 0.4, and then remember, every step on my place value chart is worth, it's all based on powers of 10. So one step up is 10 times as much, 10 times as much as the other one, or a tenth of, 1/10 of, 1/10 up. So when I'm dividing, I know that my answer is going to get smaller because I'm dividing, and dividing when I'm doing powers of 10 is going to make my answer smaller. So I started out with 0.4. But if I move 1 hop, because there's 1 0, that's going to go over here. So my answer for 1.2 divided by 30 is just moving my decimal over 1 place, 4 hundredths. Okay, here's another one. 9 and 6 tenths. So 96 divided by 3, that's pretty hard. But if I just think about the 9 first and kind of cover up that 6, what is 9 divided by 3? I know that is 3. There's a decimal, so I'm just going to copy that decimal. Now what's 6 divided by 3? And that's 2. So your answer is just 3 and 2 tenths. Not too hard. Okay, now if we take that one step further and we're dividing it by 30, remember it's the same thing that we just did right here because 30 is made up of multiplied together to be 3 and 10 multiplied together equals 30. So here I did the 3. So according to our previous learning, we know that if I just take that answer, 3.2, and I divide that by 10, then I'll get the answer to the second problem. So 3.2 divided by 10, remember, I can't set it up like with a 3.2 in the house. What I can do is just move my decimal over one hop smaller. So my answer is 0.32, or 32 hundredths. Okay, 8 divided by 4. It's not a trick. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Okay, here's where we extend that learning. What is 8 divided by 40? It's not 5. It's not 5 because 8 comes first. So that's like saying this, 8 divided by 40. If I have 8, can I make a group of 40? No, I cannot. So it is not 40 divided by 8, which is what we might think of at first. So 8 divided by 40 is going to be the same base answer because remember, this is the same as the previous problem. 40 is made up of a 4 and a 10. So I've already done the 8 divided by 4 part here. Now I just need to do the divided by 10 part. So I take my 2, divide that by 10. Where is my decimal in the number 2? Think about where that would be. I know that's right here, next to the 2, because the 2 is in the ones place, and then the decimal comes. So if I'm moving it one hop to make this smaller, my decimal is going to shoot right over there. So 2 tenths is the answer. Okay, this is the last one. 45 divided by 5 is how I want to think about this. What is 45 divided by 5? And I know that is 9. But I have to look back at my problem and see that there's a decimal and there's 2 hops in that decimal. So I'm going to take my 9 and move that 2 hops over also. 2 places on the place value chart. So my answer is 9 hundredths. Now if I take that one step further, then I'm taking this same answer and I'm moving it one more place because this 5 is made up of a 5 and a 10. I'm going to take my answer from the previous problem, 9 hundredths, and divide it by 10, which means I'm just moving it again, one place over. So my answer is 9 thousandths. There we go, 9 thousandths.